and welcome to Midnight Monologue. I'm your host tonight, Dustin. I got Lacey here.
Hi guys.
And we got Blair too, who's behind the cameras. Blair, I know I wasn't supposed to say that, but I mean your leader technically here.
So his formidable spot.
Yeah, his formidable spot where he's host and producer. I truly am sorry that I took your role tonight.
He's the man behind the camera.
So anyway, getting on to things. Lacey, thanks for joining tonight.
Thanks, Dustin.
We're here tonight to talk about your experiences and everything. And then also, too, on top of that, unfortunately, Brady couldn't join us tonight. There was a little incident over Memorial Weekend where she ended up twisting her ankle, and she's home resting it up. So she did send in a video to the Blair, the producer, which we will get for you guys when we can. So as of right now, though, we got Lacey, so we're gonna talk with her, and then we'll have Brandy's video for you guys. So we'll kind of do a little, here's Brandy's thing, and get you guys so you can see it. But Lacey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Lacey. I've been a paranormal investigator for about I think last year when I was talking about it, I said about 12 years, but it's been about 14 years. Me and a close friend had started the group. We gotten really close really fast. We became roommates, and we started a group back in December of 2009. We started FLIPS, which is the Female Lead Investigative Paranormal Society. We had a pretty big group, actually. Gosh, we would have like 7 members.
Oh, wow.
7, 8 members at one time.
I was going to say it's almost kind of like what we have, but after some recent things that have gone on, we've lost some people that is no longer part of it. But I will say this, sorry to interrupt on that, but we'll have 2 new members actually hopefully starting with us soon. They're like family, they're friends, they're based out of North Dakota. On TikTok, I just recently posted a photo of them. He just graduated from college. He's in the process of finishing up, and then they're looking forward to coming down to Minnesota for an investigation. So it's Mike and Zach are their names. So
they've been kind of a part of it. They've
been a part, but they haven't physically been there for people to meet them. And I'm looking forward to their introduction video. I'm looking forward to that. So I've been in talks with them. We do actually have a plan coming up the end of August that I think Brandy and I might go up there and see them and spend a little time and do some more talks and possibly figure out places to go to or shoot some stuff too with them if they know any places in North Dakota.
I know, and we're trying to get some more, possibly some more ideas for investigations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know you had told me one. You told me one in the group chat.
Yeah, that, the Patrick H. Rahili house in Mount Pleasant, Minnesota. So obviously it's Minnesota based. So anything I talk about is mostly Minnesota that we've done.
Well, of course, we're Southern Minnesota based paranormal group. Trying to get out there. I mean, we did good with that very first introduction video, which is going to get reshot at some point. So, what else do you?
Okay, so we investigated till I personally investigated till 2016, 2017. I mean, we started doing, and these are places that you can look up, but we did the Historical Paramount Theater in Austin, Minnesota. Okay, that's if you in the area, I mean, Austin, Minnesota is spam town, guys.
Spam.
That is where
spam country. Yeah, spam country.
Spam country. That's where you got the Spam Museum and everything. So, the Paramount Theater is actually not far from the Spam Museum. So I did that. We did that as our first investigation. Our second one was at Sweets Hotel, and that's in Leroy, Minnesota. It's a very old hotel. Couple people have died there. Yep. I've been there twice.
I was gonna say, is there a way that can be one of our investigations?
I could possibly talk to
the owner.
Talk to her again and see if we can get
I mean,
back in there.
It's been how long?
It's been a few years because the first time we were there and the first time we were there it was investigation. Second time we were there it was an investigation, but it was on off 90, which I'll talk about here in a minute too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We did the old house in Marengo, Iowa. So that was the one we did out of state. We also did Lansing Corners in Austin, outside of Austin, which is Lansing.
So pretty much a majority of yours.
Yeah, but we did a
Southern.
lot of private residences. We did the Grand Meadow senior living area too. That was interesting. That was where I actually got kind of attacked.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got attacked there. We found out there was one of the people there. She had got this Ouija board game. Brand new, not even open. Wait, no, not. Now I got some crazy stuff that happened with this situation. I'll tell you. Okay, so she had this unopened, sealed Ouija board game, like the old new Parker's Brothers.
Yeah.
She had found this in this house, and we found out that this guy that was in the house, he hung himself.
Okay.
Okay. So, and anything I tell you guys, obviously, you guys, I'm not lying about this. I have no reason to lie about it. And it was there investigating with my former co-founder. I'm not going to say her name. But we were there in one of that apartment, and it was just us two, because it's like little apartments. And I'm standing in the living room area, and the kitchen was right here, and there's a
kitty corner kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of like a bar, kind of where they could have chairs. So it was like an angle bar, so it was a kitchen room, but it was not a room. And then the bedrooms were out this hallway. And I'm standing here, and she's kind of standing by the doorway, and I'm seeing a shadow kind of in the kitchen in my peripheral vision. And I'm I don't know. And I'm taking pictures, and then all of a sudden I jump back, and she's like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, the thing just flew at me.
The board did?
No, the shadow. It was a full black shadow figure. Blew at me. So, the woman's name, I'm just going to say her name is Liz. I'm not going to give anything else other than her name was Liz.
I can.
Yeah. No, not
confident, you gotta
the
protect them.
person who had the apartment, her name was Liz. And she said, "Well, I got this." And then that's when we found out about the Ouija game. So, we took it with us, and I'm thinking, we're going to safely get rid of this. Well, we threw the box in the back of my car.
Okay.
I had a what did I have at the time? I had to think. I had a Dodge Intrepid at the time.
Okay.
So it's back in the back window. They had the little things back in the back window. So I threw it back there. Forgot about it.
Oh no.
So my mom and I had gone to, and I'm not kidding. My mom and I had gone to a movie. Not gonna say what movie, but we'd gone to a movie.
Yeah.
And she gets paranoid about, she's just bringing her wallet in. She doesn't leave her purse in the car. So she wanted me to lock it in the trunk. My trunk was one of those heavy, they slammed.
Yeah.
And I've never had the trunk slammed before. Ever in my life.
Okay.
Okay, I had the car for 5-6 years. It never slammed. And it was windy out.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to put her purse in the trunk, and I'm like, fine, I'll put my purse in the trunk, and all of a sudden, bam, lights go out for a minute. I didn't fall over, but
the trunk hit
the trunk came down on top of my head.
Oh, when you were in there, the trunk came down.
I was putting the purses in, and the trunk hit my head. So, find out. My mom's like, "Are you okay?" Whatever. So, find out about a week later, I had concussion and post-concussion syndrome. And it wasn't until a little bit later, and this was probably about 2 weeks after we did that investigation.
Do you remember that the Ouija board was in the...
My former, she was
your
former friend that was the founder. She's like, "You still have that Ouija game back there?" I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me." I'm like, "Son of a, you know what?" It hurt. And so we took it out, and my dad had a trailer, a flatbed trailer that would pull behind a truck or whatever. Mm-hmm. Threw it in there. I'm not kidding you. Until it poured on this game. Until it poured on this box to the point where it got saturated.
Okay.
Every freaking night from 11, 12 o'clock at night until 5 in the morning. There was a black shadow that was walking in that area.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. And then afterwards, I saw things a little bit more clearly. It's no lie. When you get hit with something and have a head injury, you can kind of see things a little more clearly.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the scariest things I ever had happen at an investigation. Let's see. We did a lot of private residences. We did a lot of places where people were having issues. They wanted us. We went to some places that were pretty legit. We also went to some places that there was a place in Owatonna where this woman swore she was seeing things in pictures, and I'm not gonna tell anybody that they're lying. But
like, what's the most one that was haunted for you? Besides, obviously, the Ouija board was
the
probably
place
top.
that we investigated.
Yes,
the house I freaking lived in.
The house you live in?
Yeah, the house that I lived in. Well, the house I live in now is pretty hard.
I mean, you could go on about that. I mean, this podcast. The people are wanting to,
We have two entities in our basement that are stuck. We have a poltergeist that knocks stuff down in our house.
That's crazy.
I have a German dude that likes to peek around corners and watch you. I don't know what else.
I was gonna say on top of that too, like when we've gone to your house, and then, in that area around, we're hearing things, especially when we start getting the pieces of equipment, especially from the spirit box. And then
we've had the spirit box go crazy by my basement.
That, and then also too the park. I mean, that was actually we might be able to. My house is
old. My house is old. The town is old.
I was gonna say on top of that, what we could do technically with this, see if we can get Blair to take that video that you have, that you and your daughter and your
my niece did.
Of the situation. That's off TikTok, but we might be able to get it where we can shoot the recording. We can just say, "Hey, guys, check this out real quick," and we'll be right back.
See, one of these days we'll do one of these podcasts. I'll show you some EVPs that I have. I got some crazy.
I was gonna
EVPs.
say even that picture. That picture. Remember the community center?
Well, I can have Blair take and show the little ghost kid in the picture.
Yes. The little ghost kid.
We were taking pictures and.
Well, I was gonna say that. So the park that we are actually talking about. So if you guys follow us on TikTok, it's the very first video that we ever did. And we were talking to you guys about getting followers to go live so we can share our paranormal investigations and all this and that. Is the one, the park that Dan and we did our thing. That you guys loved it, by the way. It's going to get reshot at some point. We were keeping the original video, but do an update with everybody on the new...
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
With the new members and everything, so. But definitely, because I know we're trying to get some places figured out.
Yeah.
I know you've done quite a bit of stuff as far as being, going to different things. I think I remember you saying something too, that you have something that's on YouTube from your old group. Is that right? That you shared? You shared to Blair? Or us?
Yeah, no, I shared. It's on. Okay, yeah, so we got interviewed at the Daily Herald, and then we were on KSMQ Off 90, which is KSMQ is like a PBS broadcasting network, and Off 90 is Interstate 90 is one of the main highways here.
Interstate 90 is the main stretch for everything. Yep. Going through Minnesota. I mean, even when Brady and I took our vacation to South Dakota, that was pretty much I-90 and going over to Deadwood. I mean, you got to take an exit and this and that to go, but it was...
I mean, the show has now got, 18 or 19 seasons, and we were in season 4.
Do they still have... Is it still running, or is it...
It's still running. The show is still running. I had to find our episode.
I was going to say...
I actually have it recorded off a DVD.
You want to know what would be kind of cool is if we're able to talk to them.
The funny thing is, the guy who used to I think he produced the show.
He doesn't produce it anymore?
He doesn't anymore, but I see him all the time because I cut his hair. I cut his hair all the time. He asked if we're still doing it, and I'm like, yeah, I got a new group going.
And what did he say?
He's like, that's really cool.
So has he said anything? Be like, hey, you should get that group to the
No,
show?
he hasn't, because I don't think he has anything to do with it.
Okay. So does he have contacts for that?
And we didn't contact them. They contacted us.
That's
So
crazy.
we got contacted in the Daily.
crazy.
Yeah, we got contacted by the Herald because they were doing they were gonna have their Halloween episode. So the Austin
Understood.
Daily Herald interviewed us, and we actually got to go into the basement of the newspaper
Oh,
because they wanted
nice.
to do the creepy photo.
Yeah.
And they put mist up and stuff, and then I want to say it was after that. I cannot remember. I'd have to look at the dates on my copy at home to find out when it was recorded on Off 90. Then we got the call. They wanted us to do it at the Paramount, but I said, you know what? Paramount Theater, as awesome as it is, it's all residual.
Mm-hmm.
So, you hear the old sounds because it was like a pool hall at one time. You can hear those sounds. I have recordings of cue balls breaking off the stage and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
Crazy.
You could hear all that stuff, but where Sweets Hotel is active. But it was so different because it was like this. They didn't interview us. We literally, they had the cameras going. We had the big mics going under the shirt and everything.
Yep.
And we literally narrated it ourselves. We didn't have much to go on. So it was very unique, different experience.
Yeah.
So, I shared that because I found it today. I got up, it's driving me crazy, but I found it. It was episode 11 on season 4, and the show is in season 18 or something now, 19.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was very cool. Yeah.
And then, as far as everything too, we got our junior investigators, which one of them being your daughter and your niece. I know at some point we have to discuss about maybe getting them on, but can you kind of go over everything that's kind of happened with them, as far as what they've experienced or what they told you and everything?
So Allie had experiences when she was a year old. So when we moved into this house that I was talking about, this house was haunted that we lived in Austin when we started our paranormal group. So she started sleepwalking, weird. She'd get out of bed and start sleepwalking.
Was something possessing her? Or?
Well, at one time there was a possession issue. Okay, we had just started moving into the house and we could hear things going on. When we went through the house, we didn't have any issues, but once we started moving in, we started hearing things, and none of us would. The weirdest thing is we had to do our laundry down in the basement. Okay, so it's right at the bottom of the stairs. So I had a little rat terrier dog that followed me everywhere. I mean, I couldn't go anywhere without him. He would not go off the little landing to go into the basement. He would not go into the basement.
He's standing at the top of the stairs, or are you talking
there
about
was
down the stairs?
To get to the basement, you went down the stairs. There was a little 4 steps, and
Like
there was
a
a little
landing?
landing, and then the rest of the way down.
So he was right there.
He'd go to the landing. He wouldn't go any further.
Really?
He would not go any further.
Was it was he growling? Was he barking?
He would growl sometimes, but he would just watch. I had visions down in that place, some occult stuff that would slam into me. I know one time when the group was just getting together, we were using my basement and kind of practice investigating, and I have on a recording where I'm I stepped away because I started getting a headache. And I said,
a pentagram or anything down
no, and if we did, I couldn't see it because it was so dark, and we didn't think, this was back in 2009, 2010, we didn't think stuff. And I stepped back and I'm like, hey, did you say anything? Because I heard somebody say, hey, Callie was one of our investigators. And she goes, no, nobody said my name. And I listened to the recording, and right before I said it, there is a disembodied voice that says, hey, Callie.
Oh, wow.
So I heard that with my naked ear. These are all recordings I still have.
And you go, what'd you say? Or?
I said, somebody say your name. They're like, who? I'm like, Callie. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I swear somebody said,
Hey, Callie.
But Callie and I actually had experiences in Sweets Hotel. Her and I both got our butts touched in that place. It used to be a brothel.
Well, that's the one thing too, as far as when we went to South Dakota, Brandy and I went. I mean, she didn't feel somebody touch her butt. She felt somebody snap her bra.
Yeah.
And she thought that I had did it or somebody around her, and there was nobody around her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I just felt my bra get snapped. And the Fairmont Hotel, where we went, which was on Ghost Adventures, but also, what's that other show? It was Kindred Spirits, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't think of
I
it.
haven't watched those shows in so long.
But it was one of those shows, and yeah, that was her first experience ever especially when we wanted to go to a haunted place and everything. And ever since then, I mean, she joined the group. Obviously, that we're glad that we have you part of it and whatnot. So it's just insane.
Tell you a funny experience we had at Sweets Hotel.
Okay.
So we had all of us lined up. It was me and my co-founder, and then we had, I gotta think here, 1, 2, 3. It was like we were all up in one of the rooms, and this was the room that the guy fell asleep smoking and died in.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Wait, did he burn alive or something, or
probably more smoke inhalation? And they found him like charred or whatever.
Because he started the fire from
he
smoking.
fell asleep smoking. They think.
Okay.
So we were all in this room. I mean, so we're really shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. And earlier I'd gotten like pushed in that room. So we were all women, and we had one guy, Mark. Okay. Awesome guy. His daughter was part of our group for a while too. And we have the flashlight on the bed. We're doing a flashlight conversation. And earlier, one of my other investigators had laid on the bed because we were like, do you want us to lay in the bed with you? And the flashlight would go off, And so anyways, we're like, well, do you want so-and-so to lay in the bed with you? And the flashlight wasn't turning on, okay? And we were having a conversation. We were having a conversation. We were talking, and the flashlight was working. I'm like, well, do you want her to come on bed with you again? Didn't do anything. So we went to each person. And then he's like, got to Mark. That thing lit up so dang fast.
So it was obviously a woman there
but it was a guy who died. But yeah, we don't know if the guy was like,
well,
we don't know.
Never know exactly.
Yeah. But it was one of the funniest experiences.
I was going to say, like, with that certain, I mean, when I went to Fairmont, I didn't go on like the bed or sit or anything like that. With Brandy and I, we obviously Zach's got some new episodes out on Ghost Adventures, and there was an episode that he just did that he was laying in the bed and he had all this money like next to him and was like, "Hey, do you want to?" And then he goes, "Aaron, you lay in the bed," because you know Aaron, how Aaron's got that look to him. And sure enough, they had the SLS camera, and there was a figure that appeared and was trying to give Aaron a good time in there.
I mean, most of the things haven't been like super scary, but I mean, I've had some scary experiences. But in my house, that was one of those scary experiences. We heard running, coming down the stairs. We were in the living room, and we had the crazy thing is we had these double doors, and until we moved in, these double doors would stay open. They were the ones that slid into the wall.
Yep.
And after that, they would not stay open. They kept closing.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up like making sure they stayed open. And all of a sudden, we hadn't started the group, but she had run upstairs because we heard something hightail it upstairs. This is the same. I played you that growling EVP that I had before. That was in the house. And all of a sudden, my daughter starts acting weird. Like, she's 1 year old. She starts acting weird. And then she started trying to bite me. I'm not kidding.
Literally, after this happened?
Like, after we heard the footsteps went upstairs. She tried to bite me. And she kept trying to bite me. And from upstairs, there's no way she would have seen this. I heard my friend say, "Don't let Allie try to bite you." I don't know how, but she did. And it took me, like, praying to, like, her eyes were, like, almost, like, black. It was,
Allie's was?
Yes. So after praying, that was like she came back to herself, but it was not her.
So I'm guessing, if anything, if she would have bit you, something would have happened to you.
To me, yeah. Because it wasn't like you don't like that's the whole thing. You don't get just possessed. I mean, there's those 3 layers of possession, and she was getting deeply oppressed, but she was a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
It was creepy. She knows about it, and when we talked about it, we've talked about it with a lot of people. But she started, and at that time, if my daughter didn't know you, she didn't talk to you, she didn't say your name, and all of a sudden she was starting to talk to a bunch of people. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" And at a year old, my daughter could talk pretty well. People thought she was older, and she's like, "I'm like, what are you doing?" She's like, "Dancing." I'm like, "Who are you dancing with?" She goes, "Alex." She started talking to an Alex, and then a Michael. Like she's talking to these little kids.
Like at first, I'm guessing you were thinking imaginary friend or something, or did you know?
I kind of had this like, okay, she's too little to have an imaginary friend. What the heck is going on right now? Well, then when she talked about Michael, then all of a sudden I had a flash of this like weird like. I got this like Pearson or a P letter name, and it wasn't until later we went out and read the door knocker. We'd been living there for 4 months, and the door knocker was gold. Like,
it had their name.
It had the name on there.
That is crazy.
It was weird. It was weird.
As far as like with the investigation stuff with your paranormal group, has there ever been something where you had to stop an investigation because it got so bad? Like as soon as you got there, like you're trying to help somebody out that you couldn't do anything for, like you had to call in expertise help.
No.
No.
We've gotten into a couple situations that we've had to leave because you have like we had to tell somebody to get their electrical box checked because their EMF was so high that it was she was hallucinating. I was having headaches in that place, and the EMF was like way high. Your EMF is not even supposed to like jump into like double digits. Like it was bad. And we always told people, don't whether you drink, do recreational drugs, that's your own thing, but you need to be clean and sober. And these people were not.
When you're doing, if you're trying to.
I told these people, and they're like, "Well, it's hard to handle this when we're not, when we're sober." And I'm like, "I get that, but you got to stay sober." We get there, they weren't sober, and these people had taped crosses all over their house. We did do a blessing to kind of try to help them feel better. I mean, but they literally
did it ever help or
they started freaking out. They said that it helped. I got home and they were literally calling me, and this was like 4 a.m. They're calling me, and I'm like, guys, I got to be up at 8 to go. I need a couple hours of sleep. I'm like, you guys got to quit talking about this. You're gonna stir up activity again. Like, they wouldn't listen to me when I told them anything. I'm like, I did feel something in their house, and we did get some crazy shots afterwards. We did get a couple EVPs, but there was nothing, like, demonic like they thought.
Yeah.
It was just mostly in their heads. But honestly, like, to the point where we had to...
Okay.
Where we had to leave? No.
Okay. Well, glad for, sharing those experiences with us and everything. And like I said, Brandy had sent a video.
I can't wait to see hers.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting for her to talk about everything she's experienced, and especially now on top of it too, that where we're living right now, we feel and we believe her dad is there. So we've experienced some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I think for now we should end it where we have it. So this is Dustin.
Lacey.
And thank you for joining us for the Midnight Monologue. Keep your minds open and your recorders active, guys. Till next time.